Okay, let's switch to the English language right now. We had some technical troubles, but now we are finally live. So let's go and continue this way. So just to open this up, this is the first Angular Space meetup podcast, like mixed really type of thing that we are doing first time, because we decided to work with Angular Wrocław and Angular Space together and create this some kind of podcast thing that combines meetup with you guys online and podcast with us being here in the studio. And before we go with our presentations, we want to welcome our first, let's say, host. 1 second, Paweł, before I go, your mic go. Let's say something.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Paweł. I'm gonna be your co-host today. So let you introduce you through our speakers. By my left side is Łukasz, and right hand side we have Kuba. So let's say hello to our new joiners. Hello, Paweł. We are seeing you. You're in a view. Actually, let's elaborate for a while about the new format, because as far as I know, before you had Angular Space meetings just lead it in English, but as far as I know, the Angular Wrocław Meetup was the local one, proceeded in Polish, just locally in Wrocław. So here's the new format. It's a mixed one, so we expect the mixed viewers of us. So we will see what is your outcome of this meeting, and what's your opinion about. So let's proceed. So maybe our sponsors today.
Yeah, let me do the introductions. I have to operate with mics a little bit because our mics creates some kind of eco environment, so I have to tell everyone to speak when they can speak. So let's start first with Kuba from Synergy Codes. Kuba, now you can speak.
Hey, hello guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hosting us. Today we are thrilled to show our new open source library, and I hope you will enjoy that.
All right. Now let's go with Łukasz.
Yeah, hello. Kuba actually said everything what I wanted to say. So just hello and nice to be here.
Awesome stuff. So who is going to present from you guys?
Yeah, well, guys, what you have for us today?
I think Łukasz will start presenting, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a quick introduction, and then we'll switch to Kuba.
Great.
All right, let's go ahead with Łukasz.
All right. So I'm going to share the screen. Is the screen visible?
Yeah, I can see that.
Great. All right, so let's start. Few meetups ago of Angular Wrocław, we at Synergy Codes announced that we are going to introduce open source library for the diagramming for Angular. So back then, it was just an idea. And on the last Angular Wrocław meetup, we decided that we want to show you the in-progress version. So you could see how it works, what are the features. We also said that we started to create this library because there's a lack of diagramming libraries in Angular. There are others for React, like React Flow. There are libraries like Go.js or D3, but they are native in which you cannot use Angular components directly on the diagram. So we at Synergy Codes decided, all right, so let's create alternative in Angular, just because we are diagram experts. After the in-progress version, today we are one step further. We've just released the beta version to NPM. So what you can see right now on my screen is our landing page. The ng diagram was released to npm as a beta version. As you can see, it's very, very fresh, like last published 4 hours ago and just 200 weekly downloads already. We have a GitHub on which you can see our open source code. Then you can browse through our documentation. We wanted to write almost everything about the library, so you can see tons of knowledge about the library. So now let's switch to Kuba, who is our core member of the ng diagram library. He's principal developer at our company and Angular expert.
Hey, thank you, Łukasz. Now let me share my screen. Okay, thank you, Daniel. Thank you for the introduction. Today, I'm happy to show you the working first beta version. And before I dive into the code, let me just summarize our motivation and why we even thought about creating it. In ng diagram, we have combined over 10 years of our expertise in both Angular and diagramming. And as Łukasz said, previously, while building applications for large-scale customers, we were missing the library that was meant to work natively with Angular. Many libraries like D3 or Go.js are created in vanilla.js, which results in complex templates. They have their internal state management, which is not one-to-one like Angular. And as a result, you have to write tons of wrappers, adapters, so a lot of boilerplate, which nobody doesn't like. And our fix to that was building something truly native to Angular. And by introducing templates, which are, in our case, Angular components, we fixed a lot of problems. So building node templates right now is just like writing another component. And also we manage state in Angular way, so using signals. And we are exposing directly a service layer. So interaction with our library feels native to Angular.
Great ones. Okay, so besides that, because you mentioned there was no competitors in the Angular ecosystem for when it comes to the diagramming tools. So we know that's the standing out when it comes to the competition tools. But what else makes your tooling special? Is there something in that we want to know about that? So we want to brag on telling us about this tool.
So there were some competitors. The library is similar to, for React environment, there's React Flow. This is the leading open source library for diagramming in React, but this is in React, not in Angular.
Okay.
There are some adapters for Angular and smaller libraries, but they are not that actively maintained. And since diagramming is core of our business, we are going to maintain the library and keep it production ready, because we are going to use it in our products.
All right. Okay. So, but what your plans for the development? What's your state at the moment? Which stage you are at with your product?
We will share our roadmap later on.
Okay. Proceed.
Okay. So let me show you some examples of ng diagram. And our core principle was to have it easy to use. Very often after the development in our company, we handle the code to our customers, and they also want to further develop the products on themselves. So this part of complex templating was one of our key points. I will now show you our documentation. This is a quick start guide, which you can see when you enter the page. And as you can see, it consists only of 3 steps: an installation, importing styles, and creating the diagram. You don't have to import lots of code, just a diagram, a set of providers, and initializer for the model. So everything you see on the diagram is created within this file. And this is how it looks like. This is very simple, yet it can show as many nodes as you need without lots of code. And for many business applications that are not focused on diagrams, this would be enough. Another thing that I forgot to mention earlier, This is built for Angular, and we are not using any global dependencies. Very often in vanilla JS libraries, you have some global objects, and this can result in mixing states between components. And with ngDiagram, you can have several diagrams next to each other, and they should not mix their states, at least in theory, and as far as we've tested.
So encapsulation is important.
Yeah.
So you follow solid principles. Okay, you mentioned that you want to make developers available to develop the functionalities on their own with the easiness of usage. But is it possible? So is it possible somehow? So developers or even participants of this meetup might be involved in the development of the product. So how they can get involved in that? Is it possible?
Yes, we will share our GitHub repository, and you are free to submit issues, to participate in discussion, and maybe write your own code. We are currently working on code of conduct, so stay tuned for updates.
Great. So as you can see, you might become, maybe me, you might become the contributor of the new great library for diagramming for the business, of course. And actually, when it comes to the business, what's your target? What would you target for? What the use cases you cover with your library you're addressing?
So we are covering a lot of business areas. In the past, we used to have clients from, of course, financing, gas and oil, and also biotechnology.
Great. But actually, you mentioned you did. So it's working in production.
Not with ngDiagram, but with similar libraries. So
Okay.
we believe that ngDiagram can replace the tools that we used in the past.
Okay, so it's based on your experiences, previous experiences. Great, sounds solid. So it sounds like we're having major product on board. So let's get involved people, just investigate the solution, just try it out. Yeah, and we'll see what's your perception. You have anything extra you want to add? Something maybe?
Yeah, we have some cool features to show you.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, the templates are Angular components. So you can put whatever you would like inside the node templates. In this scenario that you can see right on my screen, we have added Angular material components into the nodes. So yeah, React Flow shows 3JS three-dimensional space. This is also possible here. And I think you can also put another diagram inside of a diagram. That could be weird, but I think it's technically
This inception.
Yeah, it's inception. Diagramception.
Good one.
And also for the complex diagrams, you usually want to integrate a kind of layout. So you don't want your users to manually place the nodes on the screen. And we have provided you samples with instructions how to integrate ngDiagram with ELK.js, which is a part of Eclipse project. They are using this library to position nodes inside of their IDEs, and they have very performant layouts like that one. And you can very easily lay out large sets of data.
One second, we have a question from Paweł, from audience. Paweł Kubiak, what about the accessibility support? Now it's a hot topic.
Yeah. So the libraries like Go.js often render diagram content as canvas. So everything you see on this diagram is a picture. So it's not really accessible by accessibility API. And these are Angular components, so it's much easier for the screen readers, for keyboard navigation and all that stuff.
Okay. So Daniel, can you see any other questions?
There's one more question from Paweł about, let me see. What about the performance?
We're actively testing performance, and today we noticed that the performance on Safari is a little bit bad. But right now we have 500 nodes and around 500 connections, and on my MacBook it runs super smooth. And this is just the beginning. There are techniques that can optimize the performance, the rendering performance even more.
Yeah, actually, we built this library with performance in mind, because a lot of our clients need large graphs, like hundreds. Of course, it won't handle hundreds of thousands of elements, because it is still rendered in a DOM, but thousands of elements are easily possible. We use some special techniques like spatial hashing. Everything was created to have the best possible complexity. So it should be fast, but still we are in the testing phase. It is just a beta. So if we find any bottleneck, we will quickly fix it.
Okay, you speak about it like it was on your roadmap.
Yeah. So speaking about roadmap, I'm sharing the roadmap. Łukasz, would you like to tell us something more about it?
Yes, actually, right now we are in this stabilization phase. So going from beta to 1.0. There are a lot of little bugs, things we find right now with first set of testers. But further, we have some new features. Like we want to support Angular 18. Right now we support Angular 19, but we know that 18 is possible too. We want to add some new events to handle, some nice features like minimap virtualization to improve the performance even greater, and also the direct connections, because right now to connect to nodes we need to place some objects like ports, and we want to get rid of them. I mean, you will use both ports and without ports. And later on, we are going to also introduce shortcut manager, so you can introduce your own shortcuts to the application. And it will conclude the first version of the application, and we hope to release the stable version in this year, probably in 2 months.
Okay, I'm thrilled. Okay, if you want to participate in this process, you can give a try to ng diagram. Here on my screen, I'm sharing the QR codes and also the URLs, so you can grab and download the repository, the package, and test it on your own.
Round, that's good.
Yeah. Is this everything, guys, or do you have
Yeah.
anything else?
Yes, for today, it's everything. You can just download it and test it.
The mermaid, that was terrible. Actually, it's not bad too, but having known there is something on the board for Angular, so I would especially have a lot of diagrams on our roadmap in the project. So I also advise you people to do so. Yeah, thank you for introduction. Thank you to the Synergy Codes, to our sponsor for introducing the product. So maybe we want to introduce you the very first speaker today.
Yeah, let's do the short switch between the speakers and sponsors. So a short break before we continue.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay, so we are now switching to our prelegants that are going to show you the presentations that we had in agenda. Sorry about the audio issues that we had, because we have a lot of mics that are close together, and I need to make sure that none of them echoes. So I need to do it in a smart way and try to switch up while we go. So sorry about these sound issues. We'll try to mitigate those as much as I can. Okay, so as you can see, one of our speakers is already connecting.
And meantime, I will do socials.
Yeah, so I figured that we could actually use like single microphone for our two of us, and your is going to be disconnected because there's not going to be an echo anymore.
Yeah, my fiance just advised me by SMS that we should improve. Yeah, so every feedback is welcome, especially when it comes to the quality of video or the audio live. But if you have any others, just feel free to reach us out or in the socials or just directly in a chat. If you have any thoughts, maybe another questions, also do the very first part of our sponsored, feel free. I will try to answer them in the end of the meeting.
Yeah, let me turn on the camera so everyone is seen right now. So guys, did you connect your microphones? This is the first thing to do.
Check. Can you hear me? Hello.
We won't be able to hear you because right now only this mic is picking up audio. Let me actually
Guys, I'm
pull
asking
up
chat.
the main camera up so you can
You
see
have a dry
everyone
run.
in the studio. Yeah. Okay, so now let's do this with mics. So this mic is going to be for us as hosts, and you guys are going to have separate mics, and I try to make it work. So now let's introduce our who's going first, by the way.
Oh, so just the volunteers. So
Oh,
you go first.
according to agenda.
Yeah, I haven't made a note. That's the first one. So, Paweł. I'm Paweł. So let me introduce you. So today we have a speaker by my left hand side about the SSR. I remember it was the terrible experience to have a SSR in a project. So let us introduce in yourself and introduce us in the topic you prepared for us. So go ahead.
1 second, let me make sure that audio is not echoing. Let me disable the main mic. Okay, Paweł, go ahead.
Hello.
Set you
Hello,
to the
everyone.
wild.
Hello, everyone. Hello, guys. Hello, chat. Yeah, so as you said, my name is Paweł. I'm Paweł Fraś. I'm working, I'm a engineer at Cloudflight, and currently I'm working on Spartacus composable storefront at SAP. And yeah, as you said, I would like to tell you something more about SSR in Angular, how it works under the hood a bit. I will show you some of source code, but it won't be that much, I promise. And yeah, I would also like to show you something that is not obvious when working on SSR. And is not also mentioned in docs, and might cause your apps are working better. So give me a second for setting up my presentation, and I will share my screen in a second.
Awesome, that's great. Let me mute Paweł until he shares his presentation. Actually, it's a lot of work behind the scenes to manage all of the screens and all of the cameras.
Yeah, just doing the magic. I mean, that is every time doing something. I'm just trying to focus on a camera and a microphone at the same time.
Yeah.
As I'm JavaScript developer, I'm single threaded, so it's too much. I needed to do it asynchronously, So basically, just to manage myself.
Yeah, a lot harder than it looks when you're online. Okay, Paweł. So get your presentation. I can see your screen right now. You ready to share your screen, Paweł?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
ready,
do
but
this.
I'm not sure if I'm
Be
ready
brave.
to
Yeah.
present.
Just to remind, so everyone watching online, if you have any questions for Paweł, we are going to pick them up after he finishes off his presentation, so he doesn't lose focus. But keep it that you can shoot your questions in the chat. Don't worry about this. I'm going to pick up the best questions, and we are going to have a QA sessions and some discussions between us after Paweł is done with his presentation. Okay, so now I'm going to show Paweł and his presentation, and I'm going to disable our main studio camera. and I'm going to disable Wojtek as well, Wojtek's camera. We are going to introduce Wojtek a little bit later as he's going to go after Paweł. Okay, so we have Paweł, we have the presentation, and I'm going to now make Paweł mic work. Okay? Go ahead, Paweł.
Okay, so I guess you already see my screen. Yeah, as I told you, I would like to tell you something more about SSR in Angular, how it works under the hood. I already introduced myself, but I will tell it again that I'm a software engineer at Cloudflight, and daily I'm working on Spartacus at SAP. And yeah, let me do the bold move, and I will jump into the demo directly. So yeah, let's go directly into the code. Here, what you can see is a Angular application with SSR enabled. It was generated based on the latest version of available Angular. It has all the available goodies. Yeah, with together with Zoneless. Let's go wild. Why not? But to be honest with you, it is not that important during my presentation. But yeah, I would like to show you some customization I did here. Actually, I added some components and also configuration of the server router. Okay, so here to show you what is available and what we can do in a new version of SSR. Some time ago, the server route configuration was provided to give us a better possibility to control what kind of page to show us how the particular page to let us configure, apologies, how the particular page should be rendered. As you can see, I told you that I will tell about SSR, but together with SSR, we are also seeing options like pre-render or a client. So even if we are running our application in SSR, we are adding actually server and infrastructure required for running Node.js to render our application, there is also a possibility to go with the CSR, even if the SSR is enabled for Angular. Yeah, so as you can see here, we have a few paths besides the one which is the default one. We have one for home, which will be pre-rendered, SSR, which obviously will be rendered on the server side, then CSR. Then we have redirect to show you that we can that the server route configuration gives us also possibility to set a status for a particular route, particular URL, which is also crucial for our browser, for clients, and for SEO, for Google bots to understand our page correctly and understand what is happening based on the status we provide us, the status code we provided for a particular page. And last but not least, we have a wildcard for all routes that are not recognized by the application, and those will be returned with 404 and with the special header cache control no store, to not let our browsers and any other places where such page can be stored, for example in CDN, to not cache a valid invalid page in any place. Okay, now let me build the app. By the way, guys, if you could ask chat if the font size is okay. If not, I can zoom it.
I think you could zoom a little bit.
Okay, sure. Is that okay?
Yeah,
I guess.
that's better.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so yeah, I built the app. And now I would like to show you what was generated during such build. We have two separate folders, browser and server. And as you may guess, those folders contain files that will be used in a particular place. So here inside the browser, we have files like assets. We also have index CSR HTML, which is a bit different compared to what will be used for SSR. But yeah, here what we can see are, for example, inline critical CSS that are inlined for rendering in a browser purposes. We have it here to increase our scores when it comes to web core vitals, especially first contentful paint. Maybe right now I will jump into the server folder to show you that compared to the previous one, we don't have such styles listed here because they will be added during the server side rendering, and this is the difference. This particular file will be used only for SSR, and Angular under the hood knows that if we want to render the page on a server, then we'll use this particular file, and those critical styles will be added later. What is another difference comparing the previous file is that this one has attached in line 10, it has attached script, and this script is a script that is responsible for event replay. So this is also a feature added some time ago. It is crucial in terms of incremental hydration, and yeah, it is added here for during the creation of such file based on the, of course, it's worth to mention that both files are generated based on our main index HTML file, which we have in our application, and yeah, during the build time, those files have attached features that are required for a specific type of rendering. Okay, so let's get back to the browser folder. Here, a part of assets, we have also another folder which is called home, and that's because we have a specific render mode set for this type of path. So here, based on the information that we want to have this page pre-rendered, we already have access to it because it was generated during the build in build time, and yeah, the static site generation was used in this particular case. So yeah, this file has everything what we need to present in a browser. It has a static content. Okay, let's go to the server, which also, apart from index server HTML I mentioned before, has important files, like for example app. This file is used by Angular engines used in SSR mode to gather information about the specific Angular app, Angular server app, which will eventually render our application, it contains all necessary information like routes, based on which later we will create a server router inside such engine, and we have all information about the render mode, status, route, headers, etc. We also have information about assets. So based on this information, Angular engine knows where the file is located and what's its name. And yeah, those files are used for serving file in case of pre-rendered routes, or choosing the file template CSR or server. Okay, so let me right now run the application. Okay, it should be visible. Give me a second. Okay, so here we are. This is our working application. We already started with a home route because in our config for a server for routing, I choose that I want to be redirect to this page at the beginning. Now let me go to the network tab to show you differences in status and in content of returned templates. Now I will go to CSR. So as you can see here inside document, we received the empty document that contains inside the uproot selector. So it means that page was not rendered. We returned a template that will be eventually used for rendering application on a client side, but it already has styles, as I mentioned before. Now let's go to the SSR page. Okay, apologies, give me a second. I forgot to comment something I wanted to show you later, but it will be like a quick one, I promise. Okay. Oh, I need to rebuild. Okay. Okay, please remember that this is a live demo, so things like this may happen. I'm not surprised at all, to be honest. Okay, we have it. I use the JSON placeholder API to show you something to do a to perform a API call, which I also use later to show you something which is not obvious in terms of rendering and error handling. Okay, so yeah, here as you can see, the whole page is already rendered. Styles are also attached, and actually we have everything what we want to present for our clients, for in our client, in a browser. Everything was already rendered on our server. We have everything, the whole content. I don't have any dynamic places here, so it is not possible to interact with this page. But showing you how hydration works was not my intention. I would say it was mentioned so many times and presented so many times that I didn't want to mention and show this this topic again. Okay, now let me go to page which is not supported. It should be not found, for example. Okay, SSRT. This is a route that was not configured, but here you can see that that we were that the special component that was configured for a wildcard to handle such situation was returned, and with the special status 404, which is cool, because here we are telling that for crawlers, and especially for crawlers because users of our application will not check this network tab for sure, but yeah, Google bots will know that okay, here we have an error, something went wrong, and I don't care about this page. I will not index the whole page based on this particular view. Okay, so right now I would like to go back to my presentation to show you how it works under the hood, to show you something more about the engine. Actually, it is called Angular Server App. I already mentioned how those all things that I presented works. Maybe not line by line, because this is a simplified code from Angular CLI repository, because those are too big and too complicated to go one by one and present you everything. But I believe this is not the goal of such presentation. If you will be interested in, you know where to find it, and I encourage you to do so, because it is yeah, such projects have cool solutions for many things, and it is worth to read the source code of your beloved library. Okay, so yeah, let's go back to the business. Angular Server Application, it is app. It is an instance that is used under the hood of Angular engine, invoked inside the server TS file. So maybe I will quickly jump to the source code. Apologies for jumping here and there. Okay, so here we are creating something called Angular Node App Engine. This is the first thing that our Express server is calling when it comes to Angular code, Angular functionalities, and there inside this, not directly, but even in child of this app engine, the Angular Server app is generated, created, and called. So yeah, here first of all we are getting the manifest, which I presented you before, that contains information like routes, whether we want to have inline critical CSS or not, and information about Bootstrap, Bootstrap function, etc. And then we have the main function handle. Here, based on the manifest, we are creating a server router that will later delegate that will be later used for running our render mode that the particular URL has configured. So yeah, let me quickly jump to the next slide. Oh, sorry. At the bottom of this slide, we already see that we are taking from the matched route the redirect to information, whether we want to redirect to any other route or not. We are also taking status. So for example, 404, as I presented you, and we also getting information about the render mode. Then, yeah, we have three types of conditions. We first we want to check whether we should redirect to any other page and go through the process from beginning, because we decided to go to another page. Then we have the scenario for pre-rendered page. And yeah, here instead of running any rendering, we are simply handling serving the existing template. At last but not least, we are promising that we will handle rendering of a page if that was configured, if we decided to have a particular page rendered on a server side, or no, as you will see later. So if we decided to that we should handle rendering, then we are taking information about, again, render mode, headers that were attached to the server router configuration, also status, and here this is the place also where we are taking information about the bootstrap function, and place and the location of a code of a file, MJS file that contains the whole logic responsible and needed for bootstrapping the app. And yeah, here we are handling the rendering. So as you can see, we are inside the server-side rendering code, and still we have information about render mode client. So yeah, as I mentioned at the beginning, even if you are running your app in SSR, you can still go only with CSR, if I'm not mistaken. At least the hybrid rendering, actually, because it is not only SSR but hybrid rendering provided by Angular, allows us to decide whether we want to have such particular page pre-rendered rendered on a server, or maybe we want to still handle rendering on a client side. So yeah, in case of client side rendering, we are simply returning the HTML together with the response init, which I omitted, but it contains init information about the response we will send to browser, like for example status or headers that we configured in a server router. Later we have finally server-side rendering. So here, compared to other ways of rendering, we Angular attach providers that can be used inside the platform server platform, and they are available only there, so not available inside the client, but only during the server-side rendering. There are three injection tokens, like request context, and response init. So yeah, request contains all information about the request we handled inside the Express server created based on what we have in server TS file. And then we have request context. This is an injection token with unknown type that actually can contain everything we pass to Angular engines. That can be used later, and I will also show you an example how we can use such token, and what we can actually pass there. And last but least, we have response init, which also mentioned init version of our response will send to the client, to a browser, and it already contains some information that we set. We configured for inside server router for a particular route, but we can change it during in our code based on some specific conditions, like for example runtime errors, which I will also show you later. Then we are getting the bootstrap function. We are getting this index server HTML, which was previously generated especially for this occasion. And finally, we are running render Angular, which is under the hood, calling another function from Angular platform server package, which is responsible for rendering the page. And yeah, at the end we are streaming what we what was rendered, what was generated, and we are going back to apologies, yeah, we are going back to server TS file where we handled our request, and which is responsible for returning response with rendered page in terms of in case of SSR, and with the HTML template which will be rendered on a client side in case of CSR. Oof, that was a journey. Yeah, as I promised you, I skipped some of the source code because yeah, I had that feedback yesterday to skip it when I did a dry run. So yeah, thank you, Chris. Okay, so yeah, as you may seen, there is a lot of work under the hood to handle simple request from the browser. And yeah, let's jump into another demo. I will go to the source code you already seen previously, and right now let's imagine that you have a first let me go to this SSR component, that you have a page that should be server side rendered, and the main content of this page is taken from the external API, so you need to do a API call to get it. And okay, I will do it that way and start to not rebuild it each time I will do a change, and there will be a lot of changes right now. So yeah, I will go back here to the browser, I will refresh, and I will open SSR. Okay, so this is the content which is crucial for this page. It is very needed and important for such page. And yeah, let's imagine that something went wrong and we received an error, a runtime error, when the page was rendered. Okay, we are receiving something because not that the whole template was related to the call we did, only part of it, but we are seeing and our actually users of our application are seeing loading instead of this very important post, which is a boomer, especially for our let me refresh, especially for give me a second. Especially for our web crawlers, because they still see that the content was rendered, at least they think that the page was rendered in a proper way, and it contains everything that should be, everything is in place, because we still have status code 200. why this is a problem, because yeah, based on what we have, based on the content we have in our page, web crawlers are indexing our page, and it is all about good SEO in case of SSR. So things like that will actually break everything what we did and why we used SSR in our application. And yeah, this is a runtime error that is not handled by Angular SSR out of the box. We need to handle it by ourselves. I can also show you different types of errors that will that won't be handled. For example, if anything will any error will happen inside the lifecycle hook, for example, then you can see that we're still receiving the status code 200. But yeah, I would like to show you right now how to handle such situation. We need to tell somehow Angular that we want to handle such error, and let him know that come on, there is an error, and also a browser should be informed about it, web crawlers as well, and we should set our proper headers and status code for such situations. So yeah, let me again cause the error. So right now I'm calling for I'm asking for a post that is that not exist, which will return with 404, which is also visible here in our browser. We see 404. And now what we can do, we can create our custom error handler to handle it. I have a few options that I would like to show you. First, I will start with something that gives us with a approach where I'm using the response unit I mentioned before. So thanks to one of injection tokens that are provided for SSR purposes, we can have we have access to how our response will look at the end, and what headers and status it will contain. So right now, of course, the error handler was provided before, and right now when I occur such error, such unhandled error, I want to change headers to cache cache control no store mentioned before, and I want to set status 500 because yeah, there was a issue on a server side, and I want to tell crawlers about it. Hooray! Great success. We have content, malformed content actually, because we are still presenting what was rendered, but this time we are setting the proper status 500 and proper headers that also are crucial in such situation. What we can do apart from that, maybe we can do something like this. We can navigate to error page that we have also configured for in our router. So we will present error page instead of malformed one. Yeah, that's another solution for such problem. This one looks like pretty nice one, because yeah, instead of malformed page, we are presenting a page that tells also our customers, our users, that this is not something that they used to that they should see when calling a particular URL when visiting our page. Another way to handle it is to use mentioned before request context. And here, what I did, let me now go to server TS, and I simply passed here a callback function that will that can be used in for example, a custom error handler, which will be used later to propagate error from Angular application to the server, and will simply assign server we encountered to a variable that server application will have access to, and then based on such information we can perform any other actions, like for example we can throw an error, simply throw it. Sorry, give me a second. I didn't save the previous file. Or I did. Live demos. Okay, propagated the error. So yeah, it should. Oh, sorry, I'm in a wrong URL. That's a con of approach where we are redirecting to another page, because then router also will change the URL. So after refresh, we will be in a different URL. Okay, let's go back to SSR. Okay, so yeah, in such case where we are throwing encountered error, we have something that is for sure not nice for our users, but it is also in line with what we see when, for example, build time error occur, or error inside app initializer logic, or in a constructor of root component. If error will be in such places, then we'll also see a similar type of error in our browser. So yeah, I showed you few ways of handling it. I'm pretty sure that you already have in your head another possibilities to how it can be handled, and I wanted to show you this particular thing because yeah, I'm missing information about it in documentation, and it is not that obvious to handle it. But as you see, it is quite crucial, especially for server-side rendered application, when we care about the performance and proper indexing. Okay, let me go to presentation and actually. I would also like to show you why such errors are not handled out of the box. Because yeah, inside this Angular Node App Engine, inside the constructor, there is a function that takes care of attaching event listeners for unhandled rejection errors and on-cut exception errors. But as we can see, this handling is only about logging such error as an error to the console. So yeah, we need to care about it by ourselves. Risks that I already mentioned. There is no other demo. Thank you. That's pretty much it, what I wanted to present you.
Awesome.
Wow, that was insightful. Actually, pretty technical stuff. You just encouraged me to investigate the documentation on my own because I need to keep up with. I remember a few years back I was implementing the SSR in one project for Polish product, and it was painful experience as far as I know. What has changed? Do you think, comparing, maybe you have not, experiences from the previous version, which was called Angular Universal, but what do you think? Has it changed? Is it easier to implement Angular SSR applications nowadays?
Yeah, I have such experience, and I would say that yeah, starting from version 17, if I'm not mistaken, this Angular SSR finally become a first-class citizen, and we finally, for example, got a CLI comment to simply generate application with SSR or add. Actually, yeah, we were able to add it previously, but yeah, during generating fresh application, Angular is asking us whether we want to attach things like SSR or static site generation, which is cool because it shows us that Angular wants to invest more time on this and provide even more, but they already provided a lot of features that are under the hood of SSR that of course make our lives easier when it comes to implementing SSR. Maybe there is still something that you need to implement and care about, for example, this error handling I presented, but yeah, like in any other places, right? This is a tool and you need to use it in a proper way. But yeah, definitely things like hydration, event replay, those things that makes our life easier to implement and to achieve what we want to achieve by using SSR.
Yeah, okay. You mentioned about the hydration, which is the buzzword recently. Just a quick question, because I have no experience in that, but I heard the rumor partially you can render some piece of application, so some root of in application as a server side rendered, but some not, which might be client rendered. Is that truth? Is that convenient to use?
Yes. So that's true. As I presented, there is a special configuration that you can use to decide whether this particular page should be rendered on a server side, and actually it can be only one page, and others can be still rendered on a client side, which is
Perfect. That's good.
Something possible. Yeah, this is another thing actually that helps during development. During developing SSR pages. Another thing that this server router makes easier is, for example, handling pages that are not part of our router, right? So previously it was not that easy to achieve it. Right now you can simply set that for all routes that are not known for us, for our application. Let's go to let's generate, actually let's go to a page with a proper component, page not found component with a proper status and headers.
Yeah, okay. Actually, I remember there was one more presentation during the Angular Wrocław inside meetup, so I can see this topic get more popular. You think it's just a trend in Angular ecosystem to create SSR-based applications?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean,
is that the direction we are going
yes,
to?
It's hard to say actually. I see that Angular core team is investigating more and more into this topic, which is very cool. But actually, it is very difficult for me to say what the direction will be. We know that Angular is used I don't know if I can say mainly, but it is used for enterprise application, usually internal application where this performance is not that crucial, like for example in e-commerce. So maybe it will be their goal to make creating smaller apps even easier than previously. But yeah, I started saying that I don't know what the direction will be, because we have already other meta frameworks which are a bit different than what Angular gives us. For example, I don't know, SvelteKit, Next.js, right? Where apart from rendering,
Analog.js.
Yes,
Analog.js
yes,
from Angular.
yes. That's right, but I wanted to say that those meta frameworks, apart from giving us things like SSR, etc., they also gave us tools for having all-in-one apps, right? So we can attach database. We have tooling for easier API calls, etc., to communicate between server and client. In this case, we are getting, in case of Angular, we are getting, I would say, raw server TS file, where of course you can create your own backend, let's say, and APIs. But yeah, it will be like doing it in Express or in any other framework you like, without any tooling from Angular. And I'm wondering whether they will go in direction to be similar what Analog.js is, or not. This is an open question.
This is a very hot topic.
Yes.
Yeah, answer is not from our side. Yeah,
One question from my side. So I have seen some opinions around the internet that you should rather, if you are not even going to use SSR in your Angular application, you are starting up a project, it's better to program it in a way to already use SSR and enable it in SSR so it works, because it's harder later on to change your application to work with SSR. Would you agree with this? Would you like make your application SSR enabled even if you don't need SSR from get-go?
Being honest with you, I don't have such experience. I didn't encountered errors that will be connected to having application that is not ready for SSR. But I can imagine that it may cause some issues. For example, yeah, it is known for us that, for example, you should not you should not for example, change DOM directly, etc. You should also use Angular utils for this. So without but yeah, in case of SSR, it is even more problematic in case of hydration, incremental hydration, because in dev mode Angular will tell you that the DOM that was hydrated is different than before. But yeah, in prod mode, this is something that is very difficult to be catched.
Yeah, I think it was bigger problem with the old SSR before the new SSR came in. So
yeah.
Actually, your question just brought me a thought. Somebody once said you better add NGRX to your project at the very beginning, so you won't struggle with
so you break
adapting.
your code.
So you won't adapt. You struggle with adapting later. Yeah. So that that's the idea. But yeah. So that's a good one. Last question from my side, because actually, I can see you have you're insightful in a tech details of the framework of the Angular SSR. So do you see any gaps? Do you see any gaps to any space for optimization for what Angular brings to us with a new SSR? Is it competitive, you think, with the other solutions? Is it the way to go for the developers, or rather just go ahead with analog and don't struggle with manual configuration?
So yeah, as I said previously, depends on your needs. If you want to have all-in-one application, then you don't have any utils, any parts that will help you to also take care of the backend part of your app. By backend, I mean the REST API, for example, right? But yeah, is it competitive? I would say definitely due to incremental hydration. That was very hot topic. It still is, and it gives a performance boost that is not which is hard to find in any other frameworks based on what I know. But yeah, I don't have that much experience in other frameworks. Nevertheless, it was told many times that this kind of hydration do the job and do it in a very good way.
Yeah, a lot of rumors that at first time, for the very first time, we are first at something upfront to the comparing to the React and the Vue. But I think it's a game changer. Actually, it changes a lot. Especially what I love about Angular SSR, I can just easily configure the hydration. So part of my application might be client side rendered or the server side rendered. It just brings me the experience with Astro, which is another meta framework, but I think it's getting more competitive, and just the knowledge is reusable across the frameworks. That's a good one.
Yeah, so actually in that topic, the Tanstack query router recently introduced something like this in their router. You can have like partially hydrated, fully hydrated, and client side based on the route. So that is like going into the front end and web trend, this kind of behavior. I have one question to Paweł. So Angular team has been investing a lot in SSR. Like it was a main point of the current developments of Angular. A lot of mind has gone into this. Now signal forms are taking the main throne, but do you think that investing such a huge work and effort into SSR was a good thing from the Angular team side, or would you rather have them focus on other things and then come back to the SSR? Because why I'm asking this question, from my experience, SSR is not really that widely used. So based on you have a large experience with SSR. So do you think it was a good decision, or would you go the other way?
Yeah, it's for me it's very difficult to answer, but without investing more time into this topic, we will not hear about, for example, incremental hydration. And there is a question how much we don't know about the Angular strategy, right? So of course for guys like we, I have some experience in SSR, but the most part of my career I spent on some internal apps, enterprise application.
Like most of us, I think.
Yeah, so things like signals or any other utils and features that can be used not only in SSR would be much more desired.
Yeah.
Right, but if I'm not mistaken, Angular is starting already started aiming to devs that are not connected into Angular for a long time, or to devs that are handling projects which are smaller. And in such case, if they want to follow competition, that's my opinion at least, they had to invest some time in this SSR to simply be as to be in the same line, right, with others when it comes to feature and performance. Actually, performance is a buzzword. So yeah, to achieve it, I think that SSR is a core part of it.
Yeah, totally. We have a comment from Paweł Kubiak. So streamed server-side rendering, that's the missing piece. What do you think?
I agree.
I agree. Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah. Actually, this was mentioned many times. For example, during the NG Poland, and I know that it was mentioned, and maybe this work around this topic is ongoing. And actually, I would like to hear more about, for example, upcoming NG Poland or coming around the next release.
Yeah, totally. I think it's not the main spot usually because it's not that often used. Like usually we go with client side,
Yeah.
and SSR is not really that let's say popular. So,
But if you want to try the server-side rendered application, you can just try out Google Get Gemini, which is made with Angular SSR. It's the best example of the application created with Angular SSR.
Or you can check the Christmas calendar that we have created with Paweł Kubiak, which is SSR. So there's your app already.
It's another good example.
It's not maybe the most up-to-date repository, but we can share it later. Do you have any more questions, Paweł?
Not from my side.
So I have one question for Wojtek, actually. We didn't properly introduce Wojtek just yet, but it's Wojtek Trawiński. He is going to have another presentation soon, but since we are discussing, I have a question to Wojtek. Let me point the mic since we are using only one to not have the echo problem.
Yeah,
So Wojtek,
go ahead.
what's your experience with SSR? Have you used SSR a lot in your career throughout the years? What's your experience?
Well, I've played around, but not in any commercial project. But it sounds really exciting, especially partial hydration. Sounds really nice. But in fact, I just have a question. We gain with like first request, right? Because further requests are like client side code is executed. So for me, it's also a missing piece, like we have in React server components, that more stuff can happen on the server, and in Angular much less, I would say. So quite exciting topic, but I'm still looking forward for it to becoming more competitive with other solutions on the market.
All right. Any comment to that, Paweł? Do you want to address, or do you agree?
Maybe you disagree.
Or you disagree?
You got me. I don't have an answer for this. Apologies. Because I was simply not listening, because I was checking the chat. When I heard I have a question to Wojtek, then I switch off.
Yeah, no worries.
Apologies.
So Wojtek, you can repeat the main gist of your question about the requests.
Yeah, so the main part was that we only gain for the first request, right? So SSR is generated for the initial request, and further requests are like made on the client side. Yeah, so it's only performance gain for the first shot, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, okay. That's correct.
For
the first shot, and then when you go to a different routes, then we have only CSR.
Yeah. Perfect. So I'm out of questions. I cannot see questions from the audience, so I guess we can go off and introduce Wojtek properly with his topic of presentation and continue with that.
Yeah, basically Wojtek. It reminds me just Wojtek like a tech. No, Wojciech Szczęsny. Tech. That was once on a YouTube. Okay, so we have another speaker just quietly sitting in a corner. Thank you, Daniel. You engaged our last but not the least speaker. So let me introduce Wojtek with quality standards enforcing with ESLint and Enix generators. I'm interested in. So go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Let me share my screen. Okay. Just could you confirm that you can see my presentation?
Yep, I just
always.
enabled it.
Okay, cool. So hello everyone. My name is Wojtek, and today I'm gonna tell you how to complete sprints without injuries. But no worries, I won't force you to run. So yeah, just stay calm. So let me start with a short story of Jason. So Jason decided to start running one day, and of course he followed Nike pattern, just do it. So he simply started running regularly, almost every day, and he was quite happy with it. But a few weeks later, he lost his motivation. His knee started to feel. He started to feel pain in his knee. So what went wrong in this history? Well, Jason forgot about training foundations, such as strength training and proper sleep and nutrition. And you may wonder, how does it relate to programming? Well, quite often we just focus on delivering new features and we forget about programming foundations, such as code quality and code consistency. So that's how it may look in many companies, but and in short term it may work quite good, but in long term we will probably create technical debt and we will create code that is hard to work with. So how can we avoid such situations? How can we not get hurt during our Jira sprints? So the answer is establishing standards and then following it as we code. And what will give us coding with standards? We'll have a high quality code that is both performant and secure. We will have easy maintenance of our code base, which is super important for large scale projects. And last but not least, we will have great developer experience, so only a lot of benefits. But the question is, how can we add this quality factor to our development workflow without compromising on velocity? So in order to effectively enforce standards in our code, we need proper tools and processes, and that I'm gonna cover in my presentation today. So even if we agree on some standards, very often we end up with putting it into a sort of documentation. It can be Confluence page or README in our code base, but it's not a good idea as this image presents. So what's wrong with traditional docs? First of all, it adds cognitive load. So we need to load all this data into our brains before we start coding. Next, it easily gets outdated as every sort of documentation. And developers are in general resistant to reading docs. So how can we do better? Is there any alternative to this approach with traditional docs? Well, let's take a look at how we usually work. So we do not scaffold, we do not create every part of our code from scratch. We probably use NX CLI or Angular CLI, so some tools for code scaffolding. I will stick with NX CLI in this presentation. And NX CLI gives us NX generators for code scaffolding for different things like components, services, etc. So let's take a look at a piece of best practices from regular documentation. Here we want to encourage developers to use on-push change detection strategy for every component, just to be ready phone zoneless and due to performance. So yeah, we put it into regular docs. But it turns out that we can simply configure existing third-party generators. So component generator from NX Angular plugin. We can simply enforce that each component has on-push change detection strategy. And we can completely get rid of this part into our best practices documentation. Isn't it great? I think it is. But let's consider a more complex scenario. So we have a part about smart components, container components, let's say, and we want to have Angular component that has inline styles, inline template, container suffix, and we want to have a signal store per each container component. So it won't be possible to simply meet those expectations by configuring existing third-party generators. As it turns out, in the history, everything has its limits, and third-party generators that we have in NX also have their limits. So, what about these more complex scenarios? How can we handle them? The answer is NX local generators or NX custom generators. You can use both names. So if a third-party generator is not enough for us, we need to create our own generator. And how does this process look like? It only takes 3 steps. First of all, we need to create a local plugin. It acts as a bucket for our custom generators and executors, for example. Next, we need to create a basic generator. And finally, we need to implement it according to our requirements. To make this process even smoother, NX provides a set of utilities for us. The first package called NX plugin for doing boilerplate, for code scaffolding, boring stuff in general. But the second package, NX dev kit, really simplifies implementing our custom generators. It's a really game changer package. So let's dive into code. I won't do a live coding because I'm not as brave as a friend of mine that presented before me. So let's create a local plugin. So of course, first time we need to add this NX plugin package. Then we can use plugin generator from this package. And in fact, creating a local plugin might look simple, but it's not. Actually, it's one of the hardest parts when implementing local generators. Why is that? Any ideas? Because we need to pick a proper name for our plugin. And as we all know, that's one of the hardest challenges that we need to face in our jobs as software engineers. So I work at XTB, so it was super easy for me to pick XTB plugin name. Yeah. So we have a local plugin. It's a regular project in NX, so it has project JSON, lint, and unit test configuration, just a bucket waiting for our local generators. Next step, creating generator. It's gonna sound like an inception because we use a generator from NX plugin to generate our own generator. Yeah, but at least we have a name for it already, because I want to get rid of this section from README related to container components. So I will name my generator container. Yeah, so simple command. And we have some initial files for our container generator. We have schema, we have a main file, even unit tests, and this generator is added to generators.json file that contains information about all the available local generators. So if we want to explore which generators are available, this file is the source of truth. Nice thing is that we can provide aliases for our own local generators, so we don't need to call container every time. Here I configured it that we can simply call cc. Yeah. So let's now focus on implementing the container generator according to our requirements. So this long piece of README that I showed a few slides before. In general, implementation of each generator can be divided into 3 stages. The first one is to find already existing generators that we can compose. because we don't want to reinvent the wheel, and we tend to be lazy, I would say, but in a positive way. The second step is to create files from templates. And finally, we need to update some files that already exist in our repository. So the first step, we want to create container component. So it sounds quite good to reuse component generator and a plugin. And that's what we reuse component generator, and we will provide some fixed options to it. As you may remember, the requirements were to have inline style and inline template. So we simply set these options to true. And we also wanted to have container suffix. And since Angular 20, we can also configure it in our generator. We can pass type property here container, so it will not be something.component.ts, but something.container.ts. So a nice thing. And the only option that we need to forward from our generator to this third-party component generator is the path where we want to generate our container. So our schema is super simple. The only present and required property is path, so target location for our container component. The step of creating files can be also like expressed in 3 stages. First, we prepare file templates, then we provide proper context, and finally we generate those files. So let's take a look at our container generator. We want to have a signal store per container, so we'll provide a template file for our signal store. It will have a dynamic name, so we can dynamically name those files using convention with double underscore around this dynamic name. And here we have a basic implementation of signal store. There is one placeholder called name prefix. In general, everything that is between those strange marks will be treated as regular TS. So we will be able to dynamically provide this name prefix. So that, for example, type is scarce state or plain state, stuff like that. NX DevKit provides us with a helper function called generate files. So we simply pass the following arguments to it. We start with a tree that represents file system. The second argument is the directory with these files templates. Third argument targets directory, so where we want to generate those files. So next to our container component. And the last argument is context. So things that we want to substitute in our files templates plus dynamic name in this example. So I simply pass name of my container. And a nice thing is that this NX DevKit package also ships with names helper function that allows you to express a given string using different conventions. Here it's Pascal case for name prefix. So we have our signal store created. And the last step of implementing each generator is updating files. So here we have also 3 steps. First, we create abstract syntax tree. Then we modify this AST. And finally, we need to convert AST to a regular file. So if using abstract syntax tree thing already suggests that it's gonna be more complex than creating files, you are totally right. The hard thing is that updating files is much more difficult than creating files. Only updating JSON files is super easy. But in our case, we will need to update TS file. So we'll need some help. And I have a good information for you. I have two utilities that may help us with updating TS files. The first package called TS query. It allows us to turn any TypeScript file into AST representation, and then we can query this AST for certain nodes using well-known selectors from CSS. They say it's an advantage that you can use a CSS style selector system, but I would argue that CSS can be something that makes life easier. Yeah, so here's on the right an example of using this TS query package. So we have a content of a file. It could be read from disk as well. AST helper function turns this file content into abstract syntax tree, and then we can query it based on selector that we pick. Here it's identifier of name animal, and we get two nodes. So TS query is a must-have in your toolkit. And the second utility I want to mention about is TS AST Viewer. It's an online tool. It consists of three parts. So left top part, you simply paste your TS code, and on the right you can see representation of this code in abstract syntax tree. So it's super useful when you want to pick a proper selector for your AST if you want to grab a given node. And the last part, left top part of this application, it shows TS compiler API that is used to create the code that you pasted in this top window. So when we want to modify AST, we will probably need to use TS compiler API to express our requirements. So coming back to our container component, what we want to achieve, we simply want to add providers entry into component decorator options. We want to register our signal store. And let's take a closer look how we can implement it. So in a helper function, first thing I need to do is to read file content from the disk and turn it into AST. So I use a helper function from TS query called AST. So AST created. In the next step, I need to create some assignments because I need to add providers to component decorators options, and TS AST viewer may help us with it. So we simply provide a basic code what we want to achieve, and we can see that TS compiler API gives us almost exact code that we can use in our implementation. So now I have property assignment expressed using TS compiler API. And the last step is to create a new AST. For that, we use map function from TS query package, and we provide alt AST. And as the second argument, we need to provide a selector. So we want to map alt AST, but we only want to alter some nodes in it. And again, we can use AST viewer to simply grab a correct selector. So here we can see that object literal expression will be good enough. Of course, it could be more specific selector, but for the sake of presentation, it's good enough. So the last thing we need to do, we need to provide projection function. So our object literal expression will need to be updated. Providers entry needs to be added. Yeah, and most pleasant part, we print our new AST to a regular file and write it to our disk, to our tree. Yeah, so as you can see, updating files may look quite complex, but good news is that you can use LLMs to help you with generating such code. So, summing up, our container generator looks as follows, and it has 3 distinct stages. So, composition of existing generators, then creating new files based on templates, and finally updating already existing files. So that's how it looked like. And what about invoking such a local generator? Well, we can call it like we call third-party generators. So simply nx generate and either full name or short name for our generator, and we provide the only required argument, which is path where this container component should be created. Alternatively, we can also search it using command palette in VS Code. It's also listed. And finally, we will have our container component with its signal store generated in the target location. But you may wonder, do we still need NX generators in OpenAI era? Is it really still useful to learn about NX local generators? Well, let's take a look at AI agents and their characteristics. Yes, they are really powerful, but they are not deterministic. And if we take a closer look at NX generators, they are deterministic, but their implementation is not always smooth. So wouldn't it be great if AI agents could pick this deterministic part of NX generators into their flow? I think so. And in fact, it's possible thanks to NX MCP server. So NX ships with MCP server that has some really useful tools. For example, there is a tool to list all existing generators and a tool to run a selected generator. So let's take a look for an exemplary conversation with GitHub in agentic mode. So I simply ask to generate container for planes feature. And as we can see, our agent ran a tool called NX generators to find out about existing generators in our workspace. Then it picked the container generator and explored its schema. And finally, it executed tool called NX run generator to execute this generator with pre-filled options. So the following UI will be opened, and it will be pre-filled with all the required parameters based on our prompt. And all we need to do is click generate, so we approve this suggestion of our AI agent. Yeah, so it ends with generating planes container, so we can see it works really smoothly. So answering my question, NX generators are still a thing because they can be used by software engineers, but also AI agents. So it's a good idea to learn about implementing local NX generators. So having a set of tailored tools is a good idea, and you can implement them using local generators. But we also need a tool that can quickly and deterministically assess if our code base meets our standards, if all the requirements that we want to follow are met. And such a tool is well-known ESLint, so a tool for static code analysis. And we all know ESLint, so you may wonder why I even mention about it during this presentation. However, I run many technical interviews, and I often ask about ESLint during these interviews. So are you familiar with ESLint? What do you use it for? And surprisingly, I hear such answers like, oh yeah, tabs versus spaces, it helps to avoid silly discussions in code reviews, or yeah, I know ESLint because it breaks our CI pipelines. So when I hear such answers, my eyes are bleeding. And why is that? Because it means that ESLint is not used to its full potential. So what are, let's say, underused areas of ESLint? I think that not all of us use it or have some basics, and that sometimes integration is not as good as it should be. So what can we monitor with ESLint beyond tabs versus spaces? I know that we use Prettier for that, but it's just just to show you that really some people don't use it properly. So first of all, we should start with some general best practices, and it depends on your tech stack. For example, if you use TypeScript, there is TypeScript ESLint package with recommended configs. The same with Angular ESLint. Simply use recommended configs with a bunch of really useful rules, and you will have best practices and clean code out of the box if you, of course, follow these rules. So start with general best practices, but that's just the beginning. It's the beginning because we can monitor best practices in less obvious areas. What can be monitored? Accessibility, state management stuff, and our beloved unit tests. So when it comes to accessibility, we can, for example, find out about all the issues that can be determined based on our code. So we don't need to wait for CI pipeline to fail to find out about missing text alternatives or invalid area attributes, because we will get instant feedback thanks to ESLint. Much better experience than waiting for Axe or Lighthouse audits from our CI pipeline. And when it comes to state management, yeah, beloved NGRX, but they do some good stuff sometimes as well. I'm joking, of course. I love NGRX and I don't understand all the complaints. So yeah, but when it comes to this ESLint plugin that they provide, they help to enforce good practices, this good action hygiene, famous convention. They also encourage us to use modern syntax, and importantly, ESLint can help us prevent bugs which are hard to spot, like cyclic effects. It's really easy to do bug, and we can prevent it using this package, this rule. And when it comes to unit tests, beloved ones, we should treat them as a regular code in our repository, as production code actually. And these packages, for example, ESLint plugin Jasmine, helps us to have best practices like not disabling or focusing certain tests, and also helps us to prevent bugs such as creating spies in an unsafe way. So yeah, a lot of areas that can be covered by ESLint in which we can enforce best practices. Some non-obvious, but it's worth to explore if a given area of your code aspect can be tracked with ESLint. Yeah, as a software engineers, we work in a fast-paced environment. That's a real page. It really exists, but it always shows 0 number. Yeah, so no surprise. But I think that we all agree, especially if we work on web development, that it's a fast-paced environment. And there are two challenges that we need to face at least two challenges that we need to face in this fast-paced environment. The first one is deprecated solutions. And the second one is experimental solutions. We don't want neither of them in our production code base. So we want to at least find out that we have deprecated code in our code base, and we want to prevent adding experimental features before they are production ready. So how can ESLint help us to stay in between? Let's start with deprecated code. So a well-known technique is to use JS-doc comments to mark deprecated code with deprecated tag. We can use it in our own code or in third-party code. And our IDEs will show us warnings strike through that it's not okay to use this function, this syntax anymore. So instant feedback, but it turns out that we can also have ESLint know deprecated rule to simply put such information into our reports from ESLint. So it's a really nice thing that we can track deprecated code in our ESLint reports with just this one simple rule. And what about Angular? Angular has been evolving quite rapidly recent times, and it's really hard to stay up to date with all the recent changes. It's hard to know by heart all the modern syntax of Angular. So can ESLint help us with that? Can it encourage us to use modern syntax? It turns out that yes, it can help us. In particular, Angular ESLint package contains a set of rules that start with prefer keyword. So it's an encouragement to follow modern Angular patterns. And the first group, I would say general best practices like prevent standalone, prefer inject over DI based, over constructor based DI. The second group that is focused on components communication, it encourages us to use signal-based solutions over decorator-based ones. And the third group that focuses on components templates. For example, it encourages us to use built-in control flow instead of ng-for, ng-if, stuff like that. But as it's important not to stay behind with deprecated syntax, it's also important not to give experimental features in production code. And unfortunately, there is no ESLint rule for preventing code that is experimental or developer preview. But as an alternative, we can always visit this super great tool created in open source called Angular Can I Use? So you can easily explore what is the status of a given feature. Is it like safe enough to use it in production code? Yeah, so I highly recommend to bookmark this page, Angular Can I Use? Really great resource. And when it comes to web development in general, there is a concept of web platform baseline. In general, the idea is to be able to quickly answer a question, can I use it, when it comes to HTML and CSS features based on your browser target. So knowing what is our target, our baseline target, we can enforce it using ESLint. And the first thing is that ESLint can natively support CSS files as well as JSON files, so no additional third-party plugins needed. And there is a use baseline rule that can help us spot some issues when we try to use too modern syntax when it comes to CSS. So here we set our baseline to widely available. So when we attempt to use something that is in newly available baseline, we will get an error or warning. There's a corresponding plugin for ESLint as well. For HTML, you need a third-party plugin. But in general, it's a nice thing that we can easily see in our code if it's safe or not to use it. What about integration in development workflow. So as I've already mentioned, many people say, oh, ESLint breaks our pipelines. So it's good, actually. But we should also take care of putting it as close to developers as possible. So we need to take care of proper integration in IDEs and Git hooks. It's simple, but it should be done out of the box. So for example, when you use VS Code, you should commit some recommended extensions to your repository, some recommended settings that enable this ESLint locally, so that when a new developer joins company, he or she doesn't need to do anything. It just works out of the box. So early feedback is a gift when it comes to static code analysis, because the sooner we know about some issues, the cheaper is to fix it. But what about situations when we want to enforce new standards in already existing code? It's most of the time it means the need for refactoring. And as we all know, we won't probably have enough time to stop focusing on new business features and say, now we want to refactor already existing code, for example, to use new built-in control flow in Angular. So we might be thinking that it's not a good idea to add new standards on the way in existing code base, but let's not be so pessimistic. Because when we want to enforce some new best practices, many times we will get migration scripts. For example, when Angular introduced this built-in control flow, they also shipped with some migration scripts. Of course, it's a good starting point. It won't cover all the strange scenarios, but you don't need to refactor everything on your own. You get some help. The second thing is that when you have an ESLint rule, it may have an autofix option, so it may self-heal when you existing code when you add a new rule for enforcing some standards. But what about situations when that's not the case? So no migration scripts, ESLint without autofix option. You can always take a hybrid approach, I would call it. And this hybrid approach consists of 3 stages. So first thing is to add a new ESLint rule with warning severity in your main config. Why is that? Because now developers, as they code, they get instant feedback about some issues. So they know it's something wrong with either existing code and new code that they try to create. But you also generate technical debt report. And this report contains violations of this new rule in already existing code base. And finally, you monitor this technical debt. So you track progress in getting rid of these violations in your code base. So in order to generate such reports, you simply add another configuration for your lint task. And important thing, you set format to JSON. So instead of putting it into terminal in plain text, we want a JSON file that can be consumed by any sort of UI. And we point ESLint config to a separate config that only contains rules that are violated in existing code base. And finally, we can represent this information from JSON file in any UI we want. Here, for example, it's grouped by teams. So you have each issue assigned to a given team, for example, based on code owner's file. So it also motivates them to take care of these issues. So summing up, although we work in sprints, Jira sprints, I think that we should treat our projects as a marathon. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And during a marathon, a runner needs some extras to complete the marathon. And during coding, we also need some extras. And in order to cross the finish line in our projects, we need high quality and code consistency. And we can get it by enforcing agreed standards. But of course, we cannot compromise on velocity, as I've already mentioned. So I encourage you to do 3 things. First of all, on so try to seek development workflows, then understand process in depth, and finally try to automate all the steps that the process takes. For example, you can encapsulate it into a local NX generator. A real-world example for that is working in monorepo when we have micro frontends. So a common process is generating new micro frontend. So we, instead of putting all the requirements in README file, we decided to create a local generator that simply requires you to add a remote ID for your micro frontend, and all the libraries are generated. An application that wraps this micro frontend as web component is generated, and also all the required updates are made. So bet on automations. The second thing, trust but verify. You may have great developers, but you should put stress on static analysis. You should really use ESLint to its limits. It's really powerful tool. And remember to give early feedback about issues, because it's not enough to only fail pipelines because of static analysis. So as close to developer as possible. And don't be afraid to add new standards, new requirements as you go, because you can always take hybrid approach and just generate technical debt report and manage it into future. So gradually improve your code base. And last thing, bet on inclusive tools. So all the tools that you use should be usable by software engineers, but also by AI agents. And as I've already showed with NX, that NX local generators, that's true, because we have NX MCP server, and the same history with ESLint. It also has NX ESLint server. So AI agent may ask ESLint, for example, is it okay according to your rules? So always take care about agents as well when picking a tool. And that's it from my side. So thank you very much for your attention. I hope you will all cross the finish line of your projects successfully with a smile on your face. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. That was a great presentation, Wojtek.
Thank you.
We can go with the questions already and jump into the Q&A session.
Yeah, actually, you said it's a marathon, not a sprint, but probably all of us next week or this week, we have had a retrospective or a planning because we work in a sprint. That's the paradox. Yeah. Besides that, what's coming to my mind? Every project I worked for, we struggle with enforcing not only developers but ourselves to keep the standards across the projects, across the code quality. Do you think maybe why developers struggle? Is just because we are lazy, or maybe we don't care about that as a developer? So what's your statement about that?
Good question. Actually, I think that the first thing is to integrate such tools into development workflow, so that it's really a help and not a pain to follow to use such things. Because for example, if you have a long README, with all these suggestions that code should look like this, it's a really struggle to follow such thing. But if you have like ESLint with all the rules, you get instant feedback, and you have tools like NX generators, it's really easy to just put them into life as you code. So I think that one of the reasons is that these tools are not properly integrated into development workflow. And the second thing, from my perspective, we do not focus on like strange situations. For example, when you create a code that is hard to maintain, yeah, for example, some simple tasks take longer than they should, and we simply accept it. Yeah, oh, it should take 3 days. It took like 5 days. What a big deal. Yeah, so we do not we do not try to find a reason of a root cause of such situations. Yeah, and that's because that's why we don't put enough stress on quality issues from my perspective.
Right. I think automation is a good way to just make things simpler and just keep ourselves on a track and keep the standards between the projects and the teams. But it's always an investment. It's an effort. We know that. But how to convince the project managers, the business, that this investment, this effort is profitable? Do you have such out of the box arguments you can give us, some advices?
Well, I think that at least you should try to collect some strange situations, as I've mentioned about this longer time for implementing simple features. So if you have such examples and you can you can explain that, oh, it happened because, for example, we didn't have a facade, a stored for managing state. We did it all within component. So if you explain that it's because of not taking care of quality in the past, I think that it may encourage project managers to take care of quality in general. But also you need to think about it a bit wider. For example, built-in control flow in Angular. It may sound as some nice addition, but in fact, using this new syntax for example, loops is also performance booster. So you should also focus on such aspects during discussions. Yeah, if we take care about, for example, quality, it improves performance of our application. So always give some hard facts why it's a good idea to follow it.
Yeah, but looking ahead, do you see any? You have any gut feelings about the evolution of the tools we have? Because we have the ESLint, we have an NX, we have boundaries provided by NX in the ESLint. You have any idea how it's going to look like? Especially when you mentioned we have AI and LLMs on board, and we can leverage the MCP servers to utilize code generation, but also rules generation. But is it possible maybe to hire AI to verify our code in a project?
Yeah, that would be great. And as I've mentioned, for example, ESLint also has NX, also has MCP server. So if you have ESLint really well configured, you can ask AI to, for example, for suggestions about improvements, if some of these rules are only, as warnings, stuff like that. So I think that in general, as software engineers, we already have nice deterministic tools, and we can simply link them to our agents, our AI agents, to do this hard part of that these tools are not capable of. Like, for example, these NX generators, updating files is tough, for example. Yeah, so we can put this thing to AI agents instead of spending hours on implementing it on our own. So I think a good way is to expose the tools that we already have that are well tested, and to AI agents, and that's a good direction. And also it would be great, and I guess it's possible to simply generate new ESLint rules using LLMs, or even the code for updates within NX generators. Yeah, because as LLMs are good at regex, they are also good at other stuff that we don't want to deal with.
So yeah, we can generate generators by generators with generative AI.
Yeah.
That's an inception from the very beginning of this presentation. Thank you. Maybe guys, you have another questions. Maybe we have some questions in audience.
Yeah, actually, I have a question. So during your presentation, you mentioned that it's hard to keep up with new Angular versions and what is changing because a lot of things are changing across these versions. Do you have any tips on that, like how to best stay up to date? And already second question, do you agree and like the direction where Angular is going from, like, let's say 16, since it was the first version that introduced signals and all of that cool stuff, to the current version?
Yeah, so answering first question, I think you should follow Angular Space to be up to date.
That's the correct answer.
That's the best answer.
That's the correct answer.
Yeah, but yeah, in general, yeah, follow smart people, and you are at least aware of what's going on in Angular. And second question was about
do you like the direction?
Do I like
basically?
the direction? It's kind of exciting, but I think from my perspective, I love RX too much, and I'm a bit sad that it's not in the spotlight anymore. It's about Signal, stuff like that. But I understand the reasons behind it. But at least I hope that we'll try to use RX where it shines, and will not be obsessed with signals, so that it looks really messy. But yeah, in general, I like the direction Angular teams decided to go with, and I'm really excited about signal forms because yeah, implementing custom controls, for example, has always been a pain, and now it's gonna be much more pleasant.
Yeah. Signal forms look sweet, real sweet.
Yeah, I'm stay tuned. Just waiting because we strongly leverage the reactive forms. I have no idea if we can get rid of them, but it was always painful. Even we have a typed forms, but I'm pretty curious how it's gonna work with signals. So we will see. But besides trends, the signals are nothing new. We already had it in a Vue.js, but previously you had it in a Backbone.js. It was 15 years ago.
And the Knockout,
Knockout.js. Yeah, there's a Knockout.js. So yeah, it's a trendy now. It was trendy 15 years ago. So we'll see what the future brings us to the Angular. But I think the things got simpler recently, especially for new developers, and maybe it just makes Angular more sexy for non-Angular developers. I also agree that I'm also RxJS, not exactly, because also I tried the RX Dart, RX Java, and I'm a fan of this approach.
Before you go, you mentioned you tried the various RXs. How do you think it's easy to go to the RX Java when you know the JavaScript RxJS? What do you think?
When it comes to the RX implementations, the types are not your friend. I mean, they are at all, but not exactly when it comes to the RxJS, because the things get more complex. Yeah. And I think the RxJS is the mostly lightweight implementation of RX, in my opinion, just for my opinion. So okay. I think the RxJS is the best at the moment. Have tried only 3. I don't know, but there is also today I heard there's something like RX Swift for iOS, but I haven't tried it. But
it's for Swifties only.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Yeah, maybe somebody Swift to Angular then. Yeah, just for the Swift. Yeah, so basically we have no questions.
Did you before I interrupted you, did you aim to ask another one, another question, or where did you?
No, I'm out of questions. Actually, you have everything. Your presentation had everything.
Yeah, so
what I wanted to ask about. So
yeah, we have some time still, so we can discuss some various Angular things off topic. So
yeah, maybe there is some topics from the audience they want us to discuss.
So yeah, if anyone wants to ask a question right now, it's a good time, because now we have a Q&A session and we can currently discuss a little bit Angular. So if you have questions, you can drop one. Oh, we have a question. Okay, let's go. So question to Wojtek: how do you use AI in your daily work, cursor, and PC servers? Tell us all about AI. How do you use AI in daily work?
Yeah, so yeah, good question, because yeah, AI is a thing, but I mainly use Perplexity because I've been using it for a long time, and I'm a big fan of it because you get like sources and less hallucination than in ChatGPT, for example. So yeah, I'm a perplexity boy, let's say.
So what's like, because I never used it. Like,
Really?
yeah, I
Oh,
never really
God.
used it. Like everyone is saying something about this, but I'm mainly using ChatGPT for text-based chat because I like imagine that Perplexity is text-based chat in the web browser, right? It's not an agent that you can use in your code base.
Yeah, but you get. I like the layout of responses. The fact that it's like always connected to the internet, so fresh sources. Yeah, I know that now in ChatGPT it's also possible, yeah, to search internet, but it's not used to be. Yeah, maybe a matter of preference, yeah, because it was a really game changer. Yeah, you simply get rid of Google search and use Perplexity, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I actually found that in practice because in Angular space I have a tracking tool that tells me where people are actually searching from and when they are coming from, and I have increasing amount of numbers from ChatGPT, from Perplexity, and from other various AI tools that are entering the website. But yeah, anyways, I interrupted you. Go ahead and tell me how you're using AI in work.
Yeah, no worries. And yeah, so about Perplexity, yeah, and also the main reason for using Perplexity is that XTB pays for it. Yeah, so yeah,
that's a good that's a good like, argument for using it.
Yeah, and when it comes to coding, I use GitHub Copilot in my daily work, so I'm quite happy with it. After recent updates, it's capable of many things that Cursor is capable as well. Yeah, and MCP servers, some issues with them for now in our project at XTB, but yeah, I'm still waiting for it to be enabled for us, but because there is a great potential in this MCP servers. So yeah, summing up: Perplexity, GitHub Copilot, and MCP servers.
And what are you actually using the agents for? Like, are you writing like functionalities, features with agents, or are you writing unit tests? What kind of code you like, let's say, hand off to the agent?
Yeah, so it depends, but yeah, I like using them for unit tests, but I get approached that first I ask to create a documentation for a feature, and then based on this documentation, I ask for generating unit tests. So maybe it's a small tip for other developers. But also when I try to find out about some existing code, I also want to make use of this context of whole code base. Yeah, so mainly for that, and sometimes for some smaller projects like this little application for investigating these technical debt reports. It was also generated with agents. Yeah, so it depends, but yeah, I would say the main advantage I see is scaffolding of unit tests.
Yeah, I think that's the one of the most popular use cases that people are using AI for. So you guys, how about you? How are you using AI in your daily work?
Maybe Paweł first.
Sure. Just let me unmute. Yeah, so similar to what Wojtek said, usually for generating unit tests, as you guys mentioned, also for discussion, right? If I have a few ways to approach, right, to solve the issue, the cursor, because I'm using the cursor, but Copilot as well. So it also has finally functionality that was available in Cursor before. But yeah, it is great to discuss some approaches you have to achieve the goal, and to sometimes it provides also a completely different angle that you will not see at first glance. So this is cool for that, and also, for example, for writing ESLints, especially the complex one before it was very, very difficult, I would say, to first write it, go through the documentation, understand it, and write ESLint through, and then also test it. Sometimes if you have a very complex ESLint rule, it is even harder to write tests for it to make it working.
Totally.
So that's pretty much it.
The other Paweł.
Actually, I noticed Paweł Kubiak just answered another question which is related to AI.
Let me show it up.
Yeah, so let's show it. Yeah. Everybody see it. Paweł, I will ask your question, but also yours because it's related.
Yeah.
There is a risk, and initially when I started searching some information how to use the AI in my project, especially in Angular, it was troublesome to generate the code which is relevant, which is valuable for my project, because mostly it was mess. Didn't use the recent good practices, didn't use the signals, especially mixing with observables, some promises. It was troublesome. So I started digging deeper, and in the meantime, Angular just released a section in the documentation about AI and integrating it into the EDs and the code editors. So now you have an MCP server. I could see there are some non-official ones.
There's like built-in support for MCP server, but is there like actual? I don't think there's MPC server for documentation.
I think it might be not official, but
yes, there is.
I know there is a tool that is called Modernize, and you can simply run this MCP server from Angular CLI. Use Modernize tool to perform modifications in your code base, so that it's like modern Angular. So
sorry, my mistake. Just as a documentation states, it's experimental support, but just hire that into the WebStorm IDE, and it worked. It just supported a lot. Additionally, I used the LLM's text files shared by the Angular team, so it's another improvement. But what you can also do just on your own, you can update this LLM text documentation, because it's just a text update by your practices which you want to include into your project. Actually, I had a problem because I'm not a fan of Nginx, so I tried alternative approach with another library.
That's a good topic, but not for now.
Okay, so I want to elaborate, but quickly, one, I just put some piece of documentation in this LLM text as a context for the LLM, so it just introduced changes as I wanted. I'm not sure if it answered your question.
Yeah, totally.
Paweł. He asked also about the Firebase Studio. Have you tried once?
I did. It actually like what Paweł is trying to ask is basically that when you're using AI, when you're asking which technology to use, it's recommending React and Next.js. It's not recommending Angular. Like whatever code you ask it for, by default, it's not going to generate Angular or like mix it up. By default, it's always going to generate React and Next code. So the question is this like a problem like for Angular? Honestly, like let me answer this first. Like honestly, from my point of view, let's say Angular was never like the most famous and most popular framework, but I don't think it should be, because Angular is most used in the enterprise grade applications that are, let's say, not the typical startup applications. Because when you want to bootstrap some quick project for a startup, you basically what you're doing is creating a Next project if you need SSR, or even not, because a lot of people are just by default using Next. And that's where React shines, creating quick scaffolding of projects that can later grow or might not grow. But for Angular, when you look at biggest companies that are out there, it's, I don't know, maybe you know some kind of big companies that are using React for their enterprise software. But recently there was a post about airlines. Like for airlines, a lot of airlines are using Angular. So a lot of train companies are using Angular. A lot of internal tools are using Angular. Most of the projects I used to work at they basically used Angular. There were enterprise projects either not visible to the audience outside of the company, which is Angular is great for because it wasn't good at SSR, and SSR is very important for the audience that are entering the website and using the website, but internally you don't care about the SSR. You don't really need it in most of the cases. So I don't think we have to worry necessarily that Angular is not being recommended by LLMs because, let's say, if you're a developer, you're not going to ask AI which which framework to use to write your application. So you're going to do the educated guess. So you're going to ask, so ChatGPT, tell me compare Angular with React, let's say. You're going to get some stuff, and then you can make your decision. That's the thing that you could do. What do you think, guys, about that?
Yeah, but what's I just trying to answer, and just wanted to tell. Of course, the React is I think easier to use with the AIs, with the LLMs. Most of the code is just a React when you ask something, prompting something in LLMs, but with some small adjustments, especially leveraging this MCP.
When you do that,
I think it's not much, and it supports. Of course, you need extra setup, or you need extra steps, but it supports, and I think it's valuable for your projects if you want to stick to the Angular tech stack.
Yeah, totally. Wojtek, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, just from my perspective, it's no surprise, because we have much more React projects, so these LLMs are trained based on React code, so they suggest React code. Is it the same, for example, with for loops? I guess we like using like this map, filter, reduce, but most people use simple for loops. And when you ask without any instructions, when you ask ChatGPT to generate something in JS, and it needs to iterate over a collection, it will probably use a regular for. So I think it's a matter of providing proper instructions, proper context.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's why these Angular instructions are a good thing that they officially created it, and we have it in our project. And feedback is really nice that developers say that, oh, I see that the code is generated according to new standards. So it's really beneficial.
Yeah, totally. So Paweł, you want to tell something?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
If I'm wondering if the documentation and for example, MCP config provided by Angular will be enough, for example, for generators mentioned by Paweł Kubiak on the chat, because as you guys said, Angular is for enterprise applications, and this is a blessing and a curse, I would say, in this matter, because as you mentioned, there are much more applications built using React. Probably there are much more open source application that LLMs could use to learn on. And in case of generators that will generate the whole application, they can generate more and more complex apps. Probably they are using something that they know, and something that you can find dozens of ways of solving complex problems, right? In case of documentation, I cannot think about how complex documentation should be to describe how manage with a particular problem, how to solve a particular problem.
Right? Totally.
Because it's sometimes hard to think about the problem you want to solve. Right?
Did you use, when you developed SSR, any valuable information? Just the code generated by the AI was supportive?
To be honest, not really. I'm mainly working on a version of SSR that is closer to what we have in Angular Universal than the new one. So when creating some apps for my purposes, the AI was provide some help, but on a daily basis on a project that I'm working on, not that much value from AI.
So that's another interesting topic, because how did you determine that there was not much value provided by AI? So
you need to know it.
You need to know.
That's
you
your
need to
know-how.
know what you are asking.
Yeah,
for,
exactly,
right?
exactly. And this is why I don't agree with people that say that AI is not useful, because it's all about how you ask the question and all about what you know yourself. Because like if you would ask Angular to not Angular AI any kind of model to like build SSR enabled Angular application and that's it, it's going to fail. But if you're going to like break it down by the task and tell the AI exactly what you would do in the code, specifying the kind of function that you will use, the kind of like, let's say, API from the Angular library which you would use, tell it exactly like how you would write the code, then it would basically turn into a tool that is auto writing code for you. And this is how I like to use AI, not like let's say vibe coding, because vibe coding is like not caring about the quality and how is going to be implemented from the technical point of view. What the term that I like is AI assisted coding, because this is something that you are leveraging as an engineer. When you are using AI assisted coding, you are basically writing your code in words, and this is how you can the best way to leverage AI today, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally agree.
I have another question.
Yeah.
What you're afraid? I think you partially answered this question, but I'm curious what you elaborate on that. What do you think about the statements you can find recently in the internet that AI is gonna steal our jobs? I mean, developers'
Another
jobs.
hot topic.
I think it's
You
another
want
hot
to ramp up
topic.
views, like almost 400 people are watching, so this is going to bump up to 500. Yeah. So guys, is AI going to steal developers' work?
And another controversy. First, you said that you don't like NGRX, and now topic about AI taking our jobs. So yeah, it's going hotter and hotter.
Share your friends. Share to your friends.
Good that Wojtek is not sitting next to you.
Yeah, so I think it will not, because it's a great thing. It's a great way to think about it as really AI assistant programming. So I think that will be capable of doing more, and it's never been only about writing code. Yeah, it's been about solving problems, and I think that it's another tool. Like we had Stack Overflow. Yeah, before having Stack Overflow,
On steroids.
yeah, we wouldn't, when Stack Overflow was introduced, someone could say, oh, Stack Overflow will steal your jobs because you will find all the answers to the questions for free on the internet. So I think it will not, but it will transform how we work. Yeah, I think we'll have more time and energy focused on some aspects like quality, performance, stuff like that, and we'll be more involved in like business context, like understanding what we really want to achieve.
You think in the future we will be the space for the Angular developers, React developers, Vue.js developers, Node.js, or are we gonna go back to the good old webmasters supported by AI?
I'm not sure. Like honestly, I know this comes up a lot. I'm not sure how it's going to end up, because I cannot see in a short amount of time consolidation of frameworks to write in a single language or anything like that, because they are too developed. Like refactoring, unless AI is going to be able at some point refactor your system by clicking a button and then it's done. But I don't believe it's going to happen anytime soon. So no. But going back to the previous question, is AI going to steal our jobs? This is like, I think this is mainly pushed. Like I had a lot of opinions about SSR. The cloud providers pushed SSR to be in every framework because they have a piece of the cake. Like they are providing the cloud platform, so they want your application to be SSR first. And why I agree we should develop SSR, I don't agree that it should be in every application. Like because I have seen like from people from Cloudflare. Maybe not Cloudflare, so I don't want to say Cloudflare, but there are some people on the X that said that SSR should be in every application, and I don't agree with that. So that's another thing. And when we go back to the AI, it's the same case. Like everyone wants to save money, and saying that AI is going to automate your developers out of the job and you're going to save a huge amount of money on this is the main selling point. And a lot of companies went through that path and have seen that even if, let's say, higher management people have seen those applications built by AI, that seems to be 80% done the other 20% should be done by the actual developers. It turned out when the actual developers came in and saw the code and shape of the code, they said that it's not 80% done. It's like 30% done, because most of the code base needs to be refactored, because we cannot develop from this. Like, we can create a POC from that to see the product working, but
it's not real product.
It's not a production grade code, and it's not going to be it's not going to be anytime soon. Another phrase that AI companies are saying is that Google is saying that, and other companies are saying that AI is generating X percent of the code, 30%, 40%. I don't remember the exact number, but what are they saying could be understood in two different ways. Like, it could be understood in a way that they are saying AI is writing code without involvement of any developer. But what actually is happening is that developers are using AI to generate X amount of code leveraging AI. So it's not AI writing the code, but it's developers writing the code using AI. So AI, like you mentioned, we are going to have much more time focusing on the other pieces of our code bases that are more about quality, performance, testing, ESLint, and all of that stuff, to make sure that our code bases are much on the quality side, where AI is going to take the mundane, like, let's say, day-to-day work, creating features, writing the code one by one, and writing CSS and all of that stuff that we need to spend time typing on our keyboards. Like, we are still going to be in charge. I think that the biggest factor that is going to happen over the next years is going to be that companies are going to make the teams of developers smaller to test how they can get more efficient. It's already happening because there are a lot of layoffs. Some companies are saying that AI is responsible for this, but it's not really. That's a mix of different things, because our economy and our, like, international, we are not stable globally right now internationally. There are a lot of conflicts happening around the world, and everything comes to these layoffs and restructuring. AI is also comes into restructuring. And basically what they are trying to test is how much they can shrink the workforce, which was previously overhired in a lot of places like Google and different corporations. How much we can shrink our development teams to be as efficient as they were leveraging AI, or even more efficient than they were leveraging AI, minimizing the amount of developers. So right now we are in a big playground. Companies are playing around with budgets because they are earning a huge amount of money and spending less than ever, but are not hiring as much as they did. So this is this like transition period. We'll see how it's going to go and how much AI is going to improve from now on. But GPT-5, for example, that's another question I'm going to ask you, because in my opinion, GPT-5 was much more hyped 6 months ago by Sam Altman than it actually did end up being like released. Because when it was released,
It's evolution, not a revolution. Actually.
Yeah, it's I think like initially it wasn't even better, because using GPT-5 takes a lot more time to generate the code. Using GPT-5 in Copilot, in my experience at least, is not as good as in Cursor, because in Cursor you can pick the GPT High, which is different kind of GPT that takes more credit from you, more money from your account, and gives you a better quality, more processing power, or something like this. But still, it was like 20% improvement, in my opinion, or something like that. What do you think, guys?
Actually, hard to say, because we don't evaluate. I just daily use.
Just like based on your hunch. Like
on daily usage, I daily usage. I noticed the answers are maybe much more. I actually point my prompts better. I mean, the code responded is more exact. I don't know. I didn't evaluate it yet, but actually on the hype, I expected something better, something much more relevant. It was just an evolution. If it was like the
everyone is saying that AGI,
iOS update.
Everyone is saying that AGI is close. Like, and I cannot see. Maybe we misunderstand AGI. The artificial general intelligence that should be equal to us, basically. But let's see where is this all going to go.
All the things we discussed today just bring me the what Tomek Ducin on one of the previous Angular Wrocław meetups told, that now what matters is an expertise, is it's the knowledge of the business, of the architecture, to provide the value to the project, not just writing a code. And I think that's the mostly valuable thing you can provide to your just to your project. actually.
Yeah, totally. We should definitely, developers should transition from the coding mindset, like hidden in the basement developer
To problem solving.
with a hood on, and there's just typing code that doesn't care about the team, doesn't care about the product, doesn't care about the business domain. We should like go away from this approach and try to actually understand the business domain of where we are working at, and understand how business works, and understand how we can leverage AI to improve the business goal that we are trying to meet across all of these.
Yeah, exactly. It was always a profit to understand the business, not only code another Jira ticket.
Yeah, exactly.
But right now it is even more important, right, in the era of AI.
Yeah.
Because business knows what they want, and you together with AI can tell them and create how it will work. Right?
Yeah, totally, guys. Okay, so we are close at our time, actually. So if you have any other topics we can discuss.
I have a last, I think, on the list, because I noticed there was at least one question about if there are open positions.
It was already answered.
It was already answered, but it just brings me that another thing related to the labor market in IT, just the layoffs and so on. What do you think about the IT situation for the juniors, especially when the AI is on board? What do you think? Is it good time? Is it not good time? There are gonna be better times, so it's just a hiccup, so we need to wait. People need to focus on
Good topic,
learning, maybe not Angular, but another solutions like AI, or maybe go full stack.
I'm going to go last, so guys go first because I talk too much.
Well, so from my perspective, if you have a good motivation, I mean, you like programming, you're really into it, and you don't want to like be a software engineer because it means having a good salary. So it's a good idea, to still try to become a software engineer if you really like it. But you need to be prepared for a much tougher road. But I think that we'll need juniors as well, but these juniors will make use of AI stuff like that. And I don't like phrases that say, "Oh, AI replaced or will replace all juniors." I think it's not fair, because everyone can make use of AI, and I think there is still a room for juniors as well. Because you can simply turn juniors into problem solvers of like lower level, I would say. So I think that future is still bright.
And juniors can get empowered with AI, but it's a slippery slope because they often do not learn the basics when they are using AI. So
but I would argue it used to be the same way even before AI. I remember people after boot camps, React bootcamp, for example, they knew how to use React to deliver features. But if you ask them about like plain JS, about, I don't know, closures, stuff like that,
fundamentals,
what the hell is that? I think that if you really like programming, you should go for it, and it's not gonna be a dead end job.
How about you guys? What do you think?
I had to say that once I was afraid. Maybe you Paweł, want to add something?
Actually, I second Wojtek's opinion about it. Maybe it's even easier for juniors to learn new things based on the AI, because thanks to what teams responsible for frameworks brings to us, like MCP, etc., gives us a better opportunity to learn faster and have access to, for example, docs and a specific part of the documentation much easier. But again, first you need to learn how to use it,
and then you need to get hired to use it.
Yes. So it is difficult time for sure. Probably it will be much more expected from juniors than before. But I still see value in such position, and I hope it will not change, because it is easier to have a junior and to describe and to teach him about the business values and about the business in general, and together with the AI, such person can bring a lot of value to the project.
Yeah, totally. And we have comment from Paweł. One of the Polish job board of IT experts, percent of jobs offers juniors positions decreased from 30% to more or less 5%. And this is like you said, like it's easier for juniors to learn, but it's harder to get a job. So we get more
That's a
juniors,
paradox.
we
That's a
get more
paradox.
juniors, but we get more juniors, but we get less jobs.
Less jobs.
You get less jobs, and it's a paradox. I think that is going to bite the companies at some point, because they hope. And we have another comment that one of the companies asked, "How can you be better than AI?" And I think that companies right now think that the juniors are basically current AI. Like AI can be juniors. But it's not exactly like junior developer or mid developer needs to leverage AI and use AI to do a junior's work. That's correct. You can easily do the juniors or even mid developers work using AI, but you need to do it. Like there's no agent that can run and do it for you. There are some agents that are running, creating applications, etc. I haven't tried it myself on a bigger enterprise project, how they would develop features to match the best practices. But at some point, like all of these senior developers are going to retire or whatever is going to happen. Who is going to take? I mean, companies. I think they count on it that before they run out of senior and mid developers, juniors won't be needed because AI is going to take over software development. I think that's what they're counting for. Maybe it will happen. I don't know, but let's see over the years how AI is going to evolve, basically. And yeah, that's also next comment from Paweł. As Wojtek said, if you really like coding, go for it. Yeah, go for it. But the key for you right now is going to be networking. Most of the contracts I ever got was never from a job board. It was rather from a recommendation by someone, or because someone has worked in the company that I applied for, and I knew that it's even worth applying to this company. I don't think I got one contract from a job board, but most I did from recommendations. So networking is the key point here, because some of the companies are hiring junior developers, but these offers are not even coming to the job boards because they are already internally, let's say, brokered to recommendations. Because I know someone that might be interested into junior developer role or some kind of other. Like, let's say a student needs to do some hours in the company. I forgot the word for it, but when a student needs to do some hours when he's studying, then some companies can hire them and also teach them on site. So network.
And sometimes you need to reach out to company that you are really interested in joining, and maybe ask about some programs for juniors, for aspiring juniors, stuff like that. So you need to be more proactive. It's not the old situation when I'm just here, give me computer, give me money, I'm a junior developer. Now you need to be much more proactive, also focused on your personal development, not being reluctant to using AI. So I think with a good attitude, with a proactive approach, you can still get a job. And but it takes more time, of course.
I like to say that actually our market normalized, because when you take, for example, a job at the grocery store, like big grocery stores, and you want to be a cashier or somebody that is doing whatever people are doing there, then you face huge amount of competition, because a lot of people are qualified to work at supermarket at various positions. And our job was a little bit different. Like there was many jobs, but not many people that could do that job. And I think that market is normalizing, and we are at the stage where you actually need to, like you said, put effort to get a job. And previously you didn't have to put the effort to get a job. And like now we are in the middle. Like hopefully we don't get to the point where there are like so many developers that it's going to be super hard to get any job, and really AI is going to take part of the cake. But for now I cannot see that happening. Based on the GPT-5 developments, I cannot see it happening soon, but let's see in a year, because it's changing so fast. that whatever we can say today could be outdated by another 6 months, because some AI company has hidden like major upgrade to the how LLMs are working, or even different paradigm that would make the AI better and actually like behave like human or something like this. So yeah, let's see where this is going. Okay, guys, so we are 3 minutes before we are going to run out of time.
There's one more information from Paweł.
Okay.
Maybe you can show that.
Oh yeah, that's the reason to join Angular Wrocław Meetups. Yeah, exactly. If you want network, join Angular Wrocław Meetups. Like even this online one, you can discuss online with us, ask questions on the chat, and we can do that. And basically, we also run normal on-site in Poland and Wrocław meetups that are happening, and we gather together. You can network there. We are going to restructure this a little bit and see how it goes. But yeah. Definitely.
And you can also find a lot of interesting and valuable content on Angular Space, of course.
Yeah, and shout out to Paweł Kubiak, because I didn't mention it at the beginning, but he was going to join. He's basically the co-organizer of Angular Wrocław, but he couldn't join. He got sick. And Paweł here, another Paweł, is making sure that he is replaced well for this online session. We have so many Pawels.
So many Pawels today.
Yeah.
It's a Paweł meetup.
Yeah, exactly. The best meetups in Poland. Yeah, awesome. Thanks for the awesome comments. I hope you also enjoyed this form because we might be doing that more often in the future. Let's see how it's going to unfold. Yeah, guys. So let's say our goodbyes. Thank you for great presentation, guys. Awesome. I cannot tell which presentation I liked the most because I like both of them equally. So
very insightful.
So awesome, guys.
First, thanks for having us. It was a great pleasure. Yeah, especially in this new format. Yeah. So
interesting experience.
Yeah, interesting experience. And now let's head over for a beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Good idea. So you are some kind of forerunners. This is the very first one. So I can understand. It might be stressful situation.
So I think Paweł is actually breaking ice, right?
Yes.
Wojtek, you did some presentations before.
Correct.
Yeah, I had a short break, but yeah, it's always like nice to come back. Maybe not to the stage, but to the table.
If you want to meet Wojtek in person and you live in Poland, he's going to be at some meetups. You can tell us which meetups you're going to visit.
So I'm gonna be in Tri-City in Gdansk, 2nd October, and then big meetup in Poznań. So I think it's 16 October. So yeah, if you live near these cities, I invite you to join me live on the stage this time.
Perfect.
Awesome stuff. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks everyone for coming, and we are going to conclude this 3-hour-long stream. So yeah, thanks for coming up. We had over 400 people across all of the platforms. X is the platform that gathered the most amount of audience. So yeah, thank you very much. Take care.